Hello and good morning, Carter. How are you today?
Hello and good morning, Marvin. I'm amazing.
As you always are. So to begin, I always ask my guests to share what their name, preferred name, nickname, anything you want to be referred to as while we do this video.
Okay. Alex Carter, full name. Just you know me as Carter. So that's totally fine.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
First of all, how was your morning?
Fantastic. We woke up super early, me and Korean, to go to the gym,
Hell yeah.
so that we can be here in time for this. Because I don't normally go to the gym that early, but because I knew we were gonna be here, I was like, okay, let's get that done, knock it out early, and then get this done, and then I won't have to worry about going when we get back. So, but that was nice. So it's always tough getting out of bed that early, but when you get there, you start feeling good once you get in the workout and stuff. So that was nice, and I feel really good now. So I feel up, like I'm awake and ready to go about the day, and I feel like I could just do whatever now.
I remember when I first met you, like you're really into fitness, but you've definitely like grown muscly. You've grown muscular. You're more muscularly. Can't ever think of the words.
Yeah.
Well, where did your drive come from? To just like want to be more interested in like your physical physique.
Well, when I started, the drive came from ladies. I just wanted to look good so I can get ladies.
Yeah. And you got one?
Yeah. I got one now, so that I guess it worked.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, that was like my initial motivation. Because I was young. I started like 20, and I didn't have any at that time.
Fair.
So I was like, well, how do I get? And at that time, I was like, well, I mean, guys with muscles do pretty good. I don't have those. Like, maybe if I get those, I'll get. So A plus B equals C.
Fair.
So that was like my initial motivation. But like once I had really started getting into it and like learning more about working out and like what it takes to get big and like to get fit or whatever, that's when like my motivation shifted. So like it wasn't just about like getting girls. Now it was like, okay, now like I want to see where my physical potential could go, like how big can I get, like, how much muscle can I gain, and then it became, all right, well, how strong can I become? Like, it's like once I like attained the initial motivations, like it like evolved and like became something else, So like, all right, well now I'm like kind of like girls starting to pay attention to me more. Like I'm starting to get more attention. So like that, I got that out of the way. And it's like, okay, well now like I want to see like how big can I get, So I devoted most of my training to like, getting size, and gaining mass, and it's like, okay, well now I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty big, like not to do my own horn or nothing, but like I got to a point where like I was satisfied to for better for worse, and I was like, all right, well now like I want to focus on getting strong. Like how strong can I become, and like now I would say that's like my main motivation at this time, is just to see like if there's a ceiling, and it's like what really motivates me now and like where my passions are now is like it comes from my own mental. Like science will tell you that there's a genetic ceiling for any person, no matter who you are. Yeah.
Okay.
Like because like you get older,
you wear and tear.
I'm just a man, Yeah. But like I tell myself that like I don't have these limitations. Like I don't have a ceiling. Like
the mind's very powerful.
Yeah, right. And like I think that's what keeps me going too. And like not to mention like youth. Like I'm still fairly young. Like I'm gonna be 31 this month, at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And like my genetic ceiling, like scientifically speaking, like won't really happen until like I reach maybe like 35, 40. So like I still have a good like decade of
and even then with like all of like the different developments that there is like in physical, like it's still growing. Like look at LeBron.
He's
literally like one of the best players.
This guy's like 40,
literally 40. He's still going up.
And he's who would have thought that like this man would be playing the game with his son. Like,
That's ridiculous.
has any other player done that? Like,
In the NBA, no. There has been. I know that there's one father-son team in baseball. Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. I think they played. I forgot what team, but they played together for a season, and then the dad retired a few years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not in my lifetime have I ever seen that. I've been watching the sport for years, and I've never seen that. Like, so like, what's his determination? You know, like, was he staying in it for himself, or like, was he staying in it knowing that like his son was gonna become a player too, and he was like, well, I gotta make it. Like, how cool would it be if I like played the game with my son, you know?
It was probably a little bit of both. He just wanted to be a
Probably.
great player, and then when he saw that Bronny was able to potentially make the league, like he was like, I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
And then even now with his second son Bryce, I think he's 2 or 3 years removed from being NBA eligible, and so there's a high possibility he may be able to play with both of his sons.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be wild.
What did he just break a record right now? He got like first NBA player to
50,000 points. Yeah. That was bananas.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right.
And no one's ever gonna catch it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not now, anyway.
No.
So
cool. Well, going back to your name, so your last name's Carter. That's what you're referred to as. Is it because you had a brother, sister that was referred to like as that as well, or how'd you get that nickname?
No. So when I joined the Sigma Chi fraternity, I don't know why I said like you're not in it. Like, I don't
It's
know
all
what I'm
good.
doing. No, but like when I joined Sigma Chi, like there are already a few Alexes at that time, and like they were already going by their last names. So like, I mean, logically, like I don't think I needed to go by mine because like everybody already knew them as their last name. And it's like, well, I can just be Alex, right? But then it's like, no, I don't think that seems fair. You know, it's like, why do I, like, I'm the new guy, so like, why do I get the right to use it?
Do you prefer Alex?
No, I prefer Carter, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, like, I mean, those are my thoughts, but then like I think it just kind of organically became that way. Like everybody like had the same mindset, you know, and they were like, well, let's just call him Carter because like we got like 3-4 other Alexes here, so
Okay.
So it makes sense. But like funny enough, like now that you say that, it's like you ever see The League?
I don't think so.
You know who Nick Kroll is, right?
Yeah.
Comedian. So like, yeah, he's on that show.
Okay.
And like his character's name is Ruxin.
Okay.
That's his last name. So everybody calls him Ruxin. And then like there's like this one episode where they meet his wife, and then like she calls him by his first name, and they're all like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's your name? Like what? And I kind of like that idea, you know. So I was like, oh man, like yeah, like I want to like be referred to as like my last name by like acquaintances and like you know, just friends, you know, people, and then like have my first name be reserved for people who are a little bit more intimate with me. Yeah, you know, and I just like that idea, and I just kind of ran with it. So like everybody in Long Beach and like, you know, people that went to school with us, they all call me Carter. I had a few exes who like at that time during like when I was active, they called me Carter too, because like that's how they met me.
Yeah.
And then that's how they knew me, and then like it's kind of like when they referred to me that way so long, it was kind of weird for them to make that switch.
Yeah.
To Alex, and it was like
You're a different man.
Yeah, right. And it's like yeah, that's a whole different person. Like I don't know who that is. Yeah. So I was like, that's fine, that's okay. Yeah. So
Where is your last name from, by the way?
so obviously it's my father's name. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really have any knowledge of like my lineage very much. Like my dad, well, his brother is the oldest patriarch from that side of the family that I know of. Well, my late uncle, he died 2 years ago. So like it was just him and my dad that like I don't know anybody past that. I don't know my grandfather, like my paternal grandfather, or anybody before him. So yeah, I couldn't really say. I think about like doing like ancestry.com or like, you know, whatever those other ones are, just so like can really see. But like I just never got around to it. But you know, that would be nice to know. Like that'd be an answer I would love to find myself.
Yeah. Have you ever asked your dad like where your grandparents on his side, like how they met or anything of the sorts?
No, I more so had questions about his mom,
Mm.
because she was a single mother, so like she raised both my dad and my uncle like by herself, you know. So like I really like I don't know if like he was ever in the picture. He never talked about it. My dad never talked about
Mm.
my grandpa. So I don't know if he was just never in the picture, like, or if he died or like whatever. I just felt like it was kind of like a touchy subject.
Yeah.
So I never really bothered asking, you know.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I know a lot more about my grandma, like his mom,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like just like they grew up in Virginia, and you know she kind of like went out of her way to do everything that she could to like you know raise them and you know help them be who they are, and like
Yeah.
she was kind of like the matriarch and the patriarch of that family, you know. So I think a lot of what he's taught me in my life has come from her,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So like in a way, I feel like I have that knowledge and connection, like just from that alone, like just
Yeah.
from like his upbringing of me. Like I think most of it came from her. So like
From your grandmother's side, what was her name? If you don't mind sharing that.
I don't
Really? Oh, okay. So
know.
did you ever meet your grandma?
No, she died before I was born, like
Okay.
long before I was born. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And yeah, no, like I never like really had those questions growing up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
'cause, like she just like because she just wasn't there, you know. So
Yeah.
like, you know, and like he didn't he rarely talked about her either, really. Like she would come up every now and then, but like it just always seemed like it like it wasn't like something to like really delve into like whenever like the subject
It
would
came up.
arise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's all I really know
Would you want
about
to know
her.
more about her?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I mean, I just like never had that sit down, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like really delved into it really.
Yeah.
Yeah, not from like a lack of wanting, you know, just
It's
like
like a respectful thing. Like you don't want to push your dad into
yeah,
something he
right.
doesn't want
Like
to talk about.
it seems like it might have been tough for him, you
Yeah.
know. So like I just like I all that I know about her is all that he's like told me, you
Shared.
know.
Yeah.
Like
What are some things that have like stood out to you that he shared about her?
that during the time she was like a slender woman,
Mm-hmm.
like during a time when most women were like rotund, you know,
Yeah.
like during that time, like it was kind of like normal for women to be a little bit more plus size,
Mm-hmm.
more socially accepted, you know, and like she was kind of like the outlier at the time. Like she was like a really slender woman, and like in turn kept them slender, like my uncle and my dad.
Mm.
You know, she understood the importance of like you know being fit and healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and then like so that goes back to what I was saying earlier, like how my dad brought us up, like me and my sister.
Yeah.
He kind of brought us up the same way, you know, like where like a healthy diet was super important, like being fit was super important, and like his like how he like developed himself
Mm-hmm.
stemmed from those teachings as well. So like he was super into fitness too, growing up. He studied it in college, like nutrition and all that stuff. He has like all these like nutritional books at his
Nice.
place and all that stuff. So like you know, I think a lot of that came from her. And then like I think I'm the way that I am now because of how he
It was passed down to
is, you
you.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Heck yeah. Do you know if your was your grandma like was she born in Virginia or she like immigrated from like
Hmm.
other areas? Okay.
She was born and raised there. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been back and kind of try to visit like where she grew up?
I've never been over
Have you
there.
wanted to?
Never. I've passed through Virginia.
Yeah.
Like so like when I was living with my grandparents as a kid, we would go on cross country road trips to you know visit my parents who were living in California. So like my grandparents live in North Carolina.
Okay.
I think you might have known this. I might
Your
have
mom's
told you
side?
at some point. Yeah, it's my maternal grandparents.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like I went to live with them for a short stint because my dad got sick
Mm.
back when I was a kid, and my mom wanted us to be over there just so like she can take care of him
Yeah,
and not have to
support.
worry about us,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So like during that time, we were there for so long that like my sister was like, it should be time to go to school, pretty soon, right? And then like my grandparents were like, y'all can go to school if you want, and like my mom was like, y'all want to go to school there, and I was like, not really. I want to go home.
Yeah.
But my sister was like, I want to go to school, so like we ended up staying out there for like maybe 5 years, a little over 5 years.
Okay.
But like during that time, like my grandparents would like take us like to and from California sometimes just to visit.
Mm-hmm.
Because like my grandpa didn't like to fly, so like we would drive.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So where were we on? What was the original question?
We were just talking about like have you ever been to Virginia to visit like where your grandma grew up, and kind of like get to know a little more about that?
Yeah, so like we passed through Virginia on those road trips, but like never like been there to stay. Like I don't know that side of the family very very well. Like so like my grandma was born and raised there. My dad's mom was born and raised there. He was born and raised there.
Do you know the town it was called?
No.
No, you know like Virginia.
It's just like okay. Virginia.
Yeah. Or are they like in the city or like in a farm?
No, very rural.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like a country boy.
Hell yeah.
So right. So and then he had like grew up there and became a man there and like had a life there. Like he had a previous marriage before my mom, and had a daughter with her, and then she lives there and her kids live there. So like his whole like first life is there.
Virginia.
Yeah, right. And then like when he was in the army, he went to like other states and stuff, and then ended up making his way to North Carolina, where my mom was born and raised, and then that's where they met and all that stuff. So
dang, there's a lot to like divulge there. So your dad was in the military, you lived with your grandparents, your parents met in North Carolina. So I did want to like talk about all these different things to make sure we get all that.
Yeah, right.
But no, thank you for just being open and sharing all that. It's
yeah,
awesome
right.
to hear.
Yeah. I wish I knew more. Like I don't want to like.
That's awesome though.
Yeah. Like I kind of feel like, this is giving me a lot to go back to and like have these conversations with my dad. I don't know why I never really thought about it until now, but it's like wow, I don't really know anything about her.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's why I love having this conversation, because it really makes you think about like what question you want to ask your parents, because you just never know.
Yeah.
And so, kind of like before we get to your parents meeting, was your dad in the military like right out of high school? Did he wait? Like, what made him like want to pursue the military?
So like during those times, like he fought in Vietnam.
Oh no
so
way.
Like that during those times, and like even the wars prior, like it was very normal for men to like jump into the military like at 18, so like he had already like graduated high school and everything, and he had plans to go to college and all that stuff, but like I don't know if he got drafted. I don't think he got drafted. Like knowing my dad, like he was like, yes,
volunteered,
let's go, yeah, I'm ready. My grandpa was the same way, so like my grandpa fought in the Korean War.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you come from a military like background then?
Just them. Like no other men in my family have fought.
Yeah.
In anything. So, but like, yeah. So like fresh out of high school, like he went, and how long did he serve?
Yeah.
I forget. But he was a sergeant, and then he became. I don't know all the branches. I mean all the ranks.
The ranks. Yeah.
But like. He made it high enough to be able to handle a sniper rifle, so like that's pretty cool. And then like he has like all these war stories that I won't really get into, but
no worries.
I mean, he was pretty accomplished. He had like this photo album that had like all these pictures and like a bunch of like patches that had his ranks on it and stuff.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, so like I knew at one point, but I don't remember now. But
yeah,
I think staff sergeant. I don't know if that was his highest rank, but it was the highest in the book, but
so after he was in the military, how long after did he like was he in there for like four
pretty
for a
good
term?
stint, a few years,
Okay.
But I'm not sure how long. I don't know the exact number.
Okay.
But then like after that, that's when he wanted to like pursue an education, and because like my mom and like that side of the family is like super intent on higher education and like all that stuff, and like I'm sure my grandparents were like, you can't date my daughter if you don't have a degree.
Fair.
Right.
Very, very fair.
Very fair. You
Yeah.
know, like that's an easy trade, right?
Yeah.
Go to school for 4 years, get that piece of paper, come back. We'll talk about it. You know.
Did your parents meet like in the military or school, or how they meet? You know.
So like I think he was either like about to leave the military or like he had already been out and met her. Because like this was after his first marriage, so like I mean like whatever that timeline is.
Yeah.
I mean I don't know, but so like yeah, definitely would have had to been after. But I feel like I have like a vague memory of him telling me that like he was still in it because he would have had to have been stationed there in North Carolina for him to be there. Like what other reason you have in being there? Because like my grandparents live like a few miles from Camp Lejeune, which is like a major
Tourist.
no, it's
military?
like it's like a
Military base?
Base, yes,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So like it's a major military base in North Carolina. That's like pretty much anybody that's in the military is going to be stationed there at some point.
Yeah.
You know, and ask anybody, and they'll probably tell you, "Oh yeah, I've been there like maybe once,
Okay.
twice." You know, so like for him to be there at that time to meet my mom, he had to have been there. He was like, "I don't know why else are you there?" You know, there's nothing for you in North Carolina. You know.
Yeah.
But,
did he like approach her? Did she approach him? Are you familiar with that story at all?
yeah, so like I remember asking
your
him
face lit
when
up
I
right
was
now.
a kid, yeah. See if I can get the story right, but I think they met at church.
Okay.
And I mean, he liked her a lot, you know, and he wanted to talk to her, like, you know, and maybe possibly court her, you know, that's how they say it.
Yeah.
You know, but then like she was like, well, you got to come back, meet my parents first, and then like he like came and they had like dinner and stuff, and it's like really like y'all like met the parents like first
right away, yeah,
right away, like is that how it was? Like because those aren't the customs now. You gotta go, you gotta put some time in first, you know. No, but then like that's when like they kind of had those conversations where it's like, are you educated? Like, what do you do? You know, like what are your intentions? Like, because my daughter is gonna be a big time lawyer and like all this, you know, and, like what are you bringing to the table? And, like all that stuff.
That's a good parenting right there.
No, yeah, it is. Yeah. And you know, like they just. You know, I mean, he relayed all the stuff that he was trying to do, you know, and like he had aspirations to go to college and like, you know, like his plans for the future and like what he wanted to do, you know, like
how old were you at this point?
My mom was young. She was like 18, maybe 17, 18.
Okay.
And then I think my dad is like maybe 10 years apart from her, which is very normal.
Yeah, no, my grandparents were 18 years apart, and then I have uncles that were the same.
Yeah. So like she was like exiting college. I mean, high school. I'm about to go to college and all that stuff, and then like he's already been like you know, through the military and had a first wife and first kid and like all that stuff. So like life wise, he was already pretty seasoned, you know. So
he knew what he wanted though.
But he knew what he wanted. Yeah, at that time, like I mean, yeah, he's like pushing 30, so like. You know, he's like, hey, I got intentions of, you know, marrying this woman, you know, like.
Damn, so he knew like right away that she was like.
He liked her, yeah. He liked her a lot. Yeah.
Did he tell you like what about her was it that like really won him or her? What like pushed him to pursue her?
Just she was beautiful.
Okay.
he liked how she looked, but like yeah, like I mean surface level, yeah. But then like
that's how it starts.
Yeah, right. I mean that's how it has to start.
Yeah.
I think, right? It's like you gotta be attracted to each other at least a little bit. You know, no, but like he was just also attracted to, you know, how educated she was. Like she was smart, you know, like she had a good head on her shoulders, had aspirations, like she, you know, knew where she wanted to go in life, what she wanted to do, and you know, she had an idea of who she wanted to be, you know, and like that, those were all attractive qualities to him, you know. So he knew he wanted to lock it down, like right away, because like I guess at the time, I don't know if women weren't really about that life back then. Or whatever, I don't know, but you know, she had plans for her life, and she wanted to be a self-made woman, you know, and he liked that, you know, as do I, you know. I think I get that from him, you know, like I don't want no do nothing. I don't want no girl that's gonna just sit around not doing shit.
Just want to be taken care of.
Yeah, right.
Dang. Was your dad very religious, or was he just kind of like, was it? Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he still religious? Okay.
Yeah. So, like, at that time, like, you couldn't be black and not religious. I mean, you could, but it's like culturally and like community wise, like it's just not heard of. You know,
Is that a big thing in the community?
Huge thing,
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
huge in the country, like you know, in like those conservative states. You know, religion is huge.
Yeah.
So like, they were all raised Christian. You know, pretty much everybody in my family was. And it's like if you didn't know God, then like,
what do you know?
What do you know? And it's like, and that was a big factor for dating my mom at the time too. It's like you gotta fear God, you gotta go to church regularly, you gotta know the word. You know? If you don't know any of that stuff, then it's like this is a no go and it's not gonna happen. You know, but like I mean, he already had that lockdown, so it's pretty easy. But no, yeah. So religion was huge, pretty big deal for all of us.
Yeah.
And he became an ordained minister.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, at some point before I was born, because like he would go to churches and he would preach. You know, I remember him preaching. Very early memories of me seeing him on the podium.
Dang, your dad had like a really like interesting life because he was in the military, then he left, went to college, got his degree, and then became an ordained minister.
Yeah, man.
Dang, that's sick.
Yeah, he's like. Cause he's not a do nothing guy either, you know. Like, he's not somebody like you can't ask for something that you aren't yourself, you know.
Yeah, you gotta want it from within.
Right. Yeah,
that's super cool.
Like that's for anybody. Like you can't want one thing and then not be that thing. Like even if like to a small degree, like you know, or at least working towards being that. You know.
So let me go to your mom's side. So your mom grew up in North Carolina on that military base.
So like near it, like they're a few miles away from it. Yeah,
it's like San Diego to Camp Pendleton.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. And so her grandparents, you grew up with them for a small stint, and so you're very familiar with who they are.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know like were her parents always in North Carolina, or did they come from like a different state?
I believe so. I don't remember them saying they were anywhere else. I think they're both. I think my grandpa might be from a different state. Just one of those other southern states. I forget where, but like my grandma was born and raised in North Carolina too. So she lived. She was born, raised, and then raised my mom and her siblings in the same house. So yeah, that house is no longer, well, it's still there, but it's not really livable now. It's too old. But like her father built her childhood home.
Bro, isn't that wild?
Yeah,
it's
you crazy.
Build a house for your family back in the day.
Like
it's still there.
It's still there. Yeah, okay. Still standing. Like so like his name's Rudolph.
Rudolph.
Yeah. He and my grandpa, my paternal grandfather, like built it together. Like my grandpa had like a hand in building it too.
Okay.
Like parts of it. Like obviously like he had most of it already built. Like when my grandma was a child, but then like when she was grown and like they met and all that stuff, there were other parts of the house that he helped build. And then like there's another building like on the same property that they built together too. We call it the daycare center because that's what it was. Like my grandma helped pretty much raise like the children like in the community, and then like that was like their business for a little bit. Like my grandma and my grandpa ran like that daycare together, but like when her father was alive, like they built that house together and they built the other parts of the main house together too. So I keep like losing my train of thought. Like where
it's a lot of memories.
Where we came. Where like what was the
question? Was,
yeah.
Yeah. So were your grandparents always from the state of like North Carolina, or did they move somewhere else?
Right.
or
Yeah.
immigrate
So
from
my
somewhere else.
grandma has always been there. Yeah. And then I just can't remember if my grandpa came from somewhere else or not. Um, but he was a military man too, so
Yeah.
like he's been all over, and then eventually hung his hat in North Carolina too. So
Where's his family there? How'd they meet? Do you know your grandparents and your mom said?
that one I'm a lot more fuzzy on.
Okay.
Like I heard that story like way back when I was like in single digits, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So like I couldn't recall now, but that'd be a fun story to revisit for
Yeah,
sure.
for all I know, your grandpa saw her across the bar and just like, "Yep, you're it. Let's go."
They're no that they don't drink, but so there's
They're
no
at
chance
church.
of that. But
It's hard down the row.
most likely they're at church, yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Mm.
that's pretty cool. How many siblings did because your dad had one sibling, one brother,
Yeah.
and then how many siblings did your mom have?
She has two.
Okay,
So she has a younger sister. She's the middle child, and then a younger brother.
okay. Did you know all your like uncles and aunts?
Yeah. Mm.
Okay.
I'm very close with my uncle because he's been around like for a while. My aunt lived. They all lived in California for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually like my aunt ended up like moving to Kansas when she married her now husband. But like my uncle lived with us for a little while. She lived with us for a little while too. So like I've gotten to be pretty close with both of them just from those years living with them.
Yeah.
But I'm closer to my uncle than I am my aunt, just because like we've spent more time together.
Mm-hmm.
You know? He took me to and from like the train station when I was going to art school in LA. Mm.
I didn't know that.
Because he was living out there at the time, and like, so this is back when I commuted from Rancho to LA to study art.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to like take the train there from Rancho to Union Station, and then from there I had to take like a couple buses just to get to school, and then I was there like all day. Up to a point where like buses weren't running anymore, so like I would need him to come pick me up, take me to the train station so I can take the train back home. So like I got to know him a lot during those times. Just those drives that we would be on when he would take me to school, to and from school.
That's a fun memory though of your uncle.
Yeah. Mm.
Kind of jumping back to your grandparents. Can you share one of your favorite memories from each of your grandparents separately?
Let's see. My grandpa was very adamant about me being a man. Like I think he wanted me to grow up a little too fast. Like at the time, I didn't really understand why. I think I have a kind of idea now.
Yeah.
But like, so he would take me to a lot of places with him when he had a lot of stuff. So like, my grandpa had a lot of his hand in a lot of things. So like, he was a landlord, he was a handyman, electrician. He actually had an electrician business where he would like just help people with like their like HVC stuff and like refrigerators and like electrical outlets and like all that stuff.
Was you a carpenter by trade?
So he went to school for that, I believe, and then it was his job for a while, and then he ended up like developing a business centered around that, and then from there he just did a bunch of other like random stuff. Like he was a notary for a little while.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like just random, just super random jobs. And then he was a landlord for a while, and he still is technically, because the property where they live now is pretty big. So like he owns my grandma owns the land where her childhood house is. They own the land that's like right across the street from there. A little bit down the road, there's about maybe 5 acres of land that they own there. So like there's a couple of trailer houses in that part that they own because they own that land. So he's a landlord for those things, and there are tenants there that live there currently.
Yeah.
So so technically, yes, he's their landlord now, still. But I don't know how I don't know how immersed in that he really is at this
Yeah.
time. You know, I don't like because he's getting old. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's like he's gonna be 90 soon.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, so like I don't know if like I think my mom might be handling a lot more of that
Mm-hmm.
now than he is, but like I still consider him like head honcho over there. He's like he's been the patriarch of this
The family, yeah.
for a long time. I think, and then my mom has stepped up
Mm-hmm.
to take over in the past like maybe decade or so.
Okay.
But like you know he's still that guy to me. But like
Is he Papa?
he's what?
I remember in college you referred to one of your grandfathers as like Papa.
Papa, yeah,
That's him. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Sorry, that was super
No,
random.
you're good. No, so yeah, like one of the memories I have with him is like when him taking me on like a job that he had, like one of his colleagues. So he's also an ordained minister.
Okay.
And then he has a PhD in theology. So he has a lot of people that he knows. Like he has a lot of connections, you know, and stuff. So like a couple of colleagues that he had hired him to do some lawn work around their house, and he brought me along with him just so he can like teach me how to like do more like handy stuff. You know? Like, and I'm like 8. I'm like 6 to 8, something like that. And I'm like, I don't want to be here doing lawn work. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go home and play with my toys, dude.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have me waking up on a Saturday, like coming here to do this stuff? Like, I don't want to do this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, playing with toys is a waste of time. Like, come with me so you can learn something, you know. So like, I was pretty much spent the whole day out there, and like, I just learned a lot about him that day. Like, they had like a fig tree in their yard, and part of our work that day was to kind of like clean up all the figs that had fallen on the ground, and like kind of clean up the edges of that area, you know. And I just remember him like talking about like when he was a kid, and like, you know, he would eat figs all the time, and like fig plants and like fig fruit was like pretty big. Like it's pretty big for anybody in the country, you know. Like if you ever heard of fig Newtons, yeah, they're huge. Like, old people love fig Newtons. And like just like not that particular job in general, but like just like all the jobs that he took me with, it was just like really nice quality time with him. Like it wasn't always. I didn't always see it that way at the time, you know.
Of course, you're a kid.
I'm just a little boy, you know. Like, why do you hate me having fun, dude? No, but like looking back on it now, it's like I'm glad he like took me out to do these things, because like I always remember him, you know. My grandma, I think. Let me think. So I always remember the times that we were in church. So like my grandma was in the choir, so she would sing every Sunday. She was like one of the lead singers, so like she was like somebody in that church, you know. And everybody really respected her because she had a really great voice, you know. And we had like a children's choir too, so like during that time there were still a lot of parents in that area who had kids, and like they would bring them to church and like, you know, put them in the choir if they could sing, you know. Sometimes if they can't sing too, but
was that you?
yeah. So like obviously me being the lead singer's grandchild, like obviously I'm gonna be in the choir, you know. So like my sister and I both became like part of the children's choir. So like every Saturday, once again, had to get up on a Saturday and go rehearse, you know. But I remember like most of those rehearsals, like just getting up on a Saturday and like hearing her sing and teach us to sing, and like, you know, all that stuff, I think was one of the prime moments that I remember most from her. And like, because that really was like her prime to me. You know, like obviously she was an older woman at that time. She was like, when I was living there, she was like in her 60s. So like not her prime like personally, to say the least. Like, obviously, she had so much life before me,
Yeah.
you know, where like she accomplished so many other things, you know, better than this. But like to me, since I've only known her as my grandma, like, you know, like that was prime for me to like see her like in her element, you know.
That's super beautiful.
Yeah.
It sounds like both your grandparents were very just hardworking individuals, and you picked up a lot of that mantra from them specifically, and then it was passed down to your parents.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I would say like them and my mom,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like they had to, because like they didn't have a lot, you know, back then. And like my grandpa was educated, you know, and like he went to school, got a degree, and had like a profession, you know. My grandma didn't go to school, but she had a lot of trade jobs, you know. Like that was the thing to do at the time too. Like if you're not going to school, you're gonna learn a trade so that you can, you know, make money and provide for your family, you know. So like she was like a seamstress for a time. This was back when there were like sewing factories, you know? So like her and my one of my cousins, I think she's like my not second cousin, she's like a distant cousin, like like the she's like the daughter of like my mom's like second cousin or something like that. So like she's a cousin by extension.
Somewhere there,
yeah, right. So like during the time when like she was a child, she was working too with her, because she was my grandma was taking care of her at the time. They would go together and they worked together in the same factory. So like that's what she did, you know. But like they didn't have a lot, you know. They're literally came from humble beginnings, you know?
Yeah.
And my mom, my uncle, and my aunt, like they had those sensibilities like instilled in them too, to like, you know, work hard and do what you need to do to like, you know, be somebody, you know.
Yeah.
So.
How long after your parents met did they? Because you mentioned that they moved to California. Did they move out here for a job because they wanted like new opportunities? Like, what was the idea behind
Yeah.
that?
So my mom went to school out here.
Okay.
So she went to undergrad. Where did she go? Fullerton, I think. I believe. And then she went to law school. Where did she go to law school? I forget. But so she was out here for school.
Yeah.
And like my grandma and my grandpa moved out here too.
Okay, support.
With her to like, you know, be there for her and support her and stuff. And then like my dad ended up eventually moving out here too.
Oh, so she came without him. So they weren't even like married. They were kind of like just dating, and then
I don't
she
think
came up
so
here.
at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once like she was out of like undergrad, I think that's when like she and my dad like were really like starting to
Serious.
getting serious,
Yeah.
and like being together and stuff. And then she went to law school out here too. I forget what school. But like my grandparents lived out here for a while she was going to school and stuff, and then they ended up moving back to North Carolina once she was like settled and you know, independent, you know.
She could be on her own and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your mom became a lawyer out here, and then was your dad also in school at the same time?
No, I think when did he finish? I don't recall.
You gotta find out. Your mom went
I
to
need
law
to
school.
ask these questions.
Yeah, you
no,
gotta find out.
I knew where she went to school.
You just forgot right now?
Like all this stuff I learned as a kid. You
Yeah.
know? And like just never thought about it again.
Yeah.
You know.
You're gonna text me like, in the middle of the night, like, I know where she went to school.
People are gonna listen to this and they're gonna be like, this guy doesn't know anything about his family. Like, what kind of guest is this? Like,
No, you're good, dude. You're good. But so you're the oldest, right?
My sister
Is the oldest?
Well, my half sister is technically the oldest.
Yeah.
And then my sister, my mom. What do you
full
call
sister.
her? Like my full sister?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's older than me by like a year and like 8 months. And yeah, I'm the baby.
Makes sense. You give off those vibes.
Do I really?
No.
It's because I'm so cute. Like,
Of course, cute and adorable. Just massive man, but cute and adorable.
I got like this big old body and then like this like super
If you're gonna
tiny.
shave everything off, you're like a little baby.
I don't think I'll ever go full shave again, dude. Like I'm too stuck with this. What do you
That's a
think?
vibe.
Do you like this? Could you picture me without?
She's like, next
I
question.
haven't seen it. I don't know.
You look cute. So your parents, so your mom went to Cal State Fullerton, and then she went to law school. Did they move to Rancho Cucamonga originally, or what was like the first place they came to?
No, so they lived in San Diego
Oh, nice.
for a little bit. Yeah,
Like San Diego City, or just like the county?
oh, the city.
Okay, okay.
And then where did they go? They lived at like a couple places in Cali. I know San Diego for sure, but then like where else they moved, I can't remember. My grandma's sister actually lived out here too for a bit,
Okay.
and then she ended up moving back too. Everybody comes to California
At some point.
At some point in their life, you know. But then when did they move? They moved to Moreno Valley. When
It's a big move.
yeah,
Dang, yeah.
huge, yeah. When she got a job at her firm, so like she worked at the San Bernardino County law firm in Rancho.
The DA's office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fresh out of law school, and she's been
Damn.
there ever since. Yeah.
That's sick.
So like when she got that job, that's when they moved out to Moreno Valley, because I guess real estate was super prime.
Yeah.
Over there
It's
at that time.
it's still right now, actually.
Yeah. And like it's nice now, but I think and it was probably nicer at the time when they moved there, and then when like my sister and I were born, when we were living there, I think it just kind of became like
Different.
Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, but like it's gotten a lot nicer now. Like there've been more developments down there. So
What made your mom want to get her law degree? Because I know you mentioned that when your dad met her, she was 18, and it's like her dad was saying that she was to be a lawyer. Like that's a very like young age to know you want to be a lawyer.
well, it's because like they were not very well off. You know, like everybody was thinking of like what's a profession that will like provide for me. You know. And because like she didn't want to be a lawyer.
She's kind of voluntold.
But like no, she like these were just thoughts that were normal at the time. It's just like, well, I mean, I want to do something that's going to help me acquire enough money to like live and provide for a family. So like she thought, well, lawyer, all right, well, I'm gonna go for that. And then what was the question?
Like what? Like how did she knew she wanted to become a lawyer?
Oh well, yeah. Like she didn't know she wanted to be a lawyer, but
she like push in the direction.
Yeah, that was just something that she decided.
Yeah,
and she just went for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Did you ever have aspirations for yourself being a lawyer?
No.
It's kind of just like a family mom.
No. Not for me.
I know you had mentioned earlier that you were going to art school. So at what point? So actually, let's backtrack a little bit. When you were growing up, like what were some of the things that you recall, like as a kid, like where you grew up and things like that?
So like all the earliest memories I have of my childhood house in Moreno Valley. Yeah. And I was always like a creative kid. Like playtime with my sister was like essential for me, because like that's when I could like make believe and like come up with stories and like things like that. So like those are some of the earliest memories I have living there. And then when I moved to my grandparents, I was like 6 at the time. That's when they were really passionate about giving us an outlet. Because I think like they saw us living there with them at the time as like a second chance to like raise kids. So like
Interesting.
I think a lot of their influence on our upbringing came from them wanting to see how they can do things differently. And so like looking back, like my grandpa was pretty hard on us about reading more, being more productive, like doing things that can develop into a talent or an interest into further study. So like if we were playing a video game or like playing with toys or something, he was like, stop right now, read a book,
Yeah.
or do something else, like do something that is more valuable with your time. So like I didn't like reading at the time. My sister loved reading, so like that was her outlet. And then for me, I was like, well, I don't really like to read. Like, what can I do instead? And like my grandpa was like, here's a piece of paper, here's a pencil, do something with that. And I was like, okay.
Stick figures.
So like I would like draw, yeah. Like, I'm drawing, and then like I'm like, this is kind of fun. Like, it's all right. And like they had like some like children's books in there, from like the daycare days, and stuff. So like I would like look at those, and then like I would like try to like draw the pictures and stuff like that. And then like that's kind of like when I started. That's when my like love for drawing,
your creativity started.
Came. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it came from that time.
So you never were you ever into like video games, sports, or like I guess like working like yard work or anything like that, or was it just like your focus was like art?
It was all that stuff. So
Okay.
it was primarily drawing. So like that's what I would do with like my time, like every day. Like once I discovered that.
Yeah.
But then like I mean I'm a normal kid too, so like I like toys, and I liked video games. Like my mom bought my sister and I all the Game Boys. Like we had the Game Boy Color, we had the Advance, the SP, we had a GameCube, we had all that stuff. Pretty much anything that came out before 2005, like we had.
You had it, yeah.
So like I was super into that too. Obviously I could never play them until like I had homework done and like all that stuff. Like my grandpa was like super against video games, but like every once in a while he would let us play them because like he knew that we were kids. At some point, like it dawned on him that like, all right, yeah, they're 6 and 7, like okay, I'll let them play a little bit.
Yeah.
But then like it was also yard work and stuff too. So like it was like he was like really good about not the best, but he was good about like keeping a balance with everything. But like it was always work first.
Play later.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Read some. Whatever books we had available. Read the Bible. And then yard work. Do whatever needs doing around the house. And then you can do whatever you want after that.
Yeah. So it sounds a lot like your grandpa was using like his background in the military to really like create those foundations and like set those boundaries of like what you wanted to do.
100%. 100%. Yeah. It's like we had to be up at like butt crack of dawn,
and just doing things.
What was butt crack of dawn for us at the time?
It's like 8 a.m.
Yeah, it was like 8 a.m., 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, 8 a.m. mostly because Saturdays we had rehearsal, and that started at 9, so we had to get up at like 8 to like get ready and all that stuff. So like, we never got to sleep in, and then we had to get up early on Sundays for church too. So it's like we never had a time to like sleep in and do whatever we wanted. Like it was always do this first, do this, and then you get to have your leisure time or whatever.
Was your grandpa the same way with your sister?
Oh yeah, they raised us both the same.
Okay. So you both have to have like a routine to kind of get things
right. Yeah,
Dang.
And I think she was a little bit more acclimated for that.
Yeah,
than I was. Like my Mariah, that's my sister's name. She got a big brain, so like that it needed to be stimulated some way, So like reading was really good for her, and like structure was really good for her. Like I don't really recall a time when she complained about any of that stuff. But like me, like I feel like sometimes I have like undiagnosed like ADHD, because like I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and it's like I'm out here, I'm on a lawnmower, or I'm pushing a lawnmower, and I'm like I want to be anywhere but here right now. Like, I want to do something else. Oh, look at that squirrel! Like, what's he doing? Like, let me go chase the squirrel around for a second. I want to see where do squirrels live, and like, what do they eat?
You're a
like,
very curious
what's
boy.
their life? You know?
Heck yeah. And that explains a lot about how you are even today, because you're still a very curious person.
I would say so. Yeah.
I definitely would say so. You are.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that I think about, and like when people are talking to me, like they'll say something, and then I'll be like, "Oh, that's so interesting." And I'm like, I wonder how that would be, and then like, what is this thing, and how does it work, and like when was it made, and like, I'm like thinking all this stuff, and like I go
all about it.
yeah, and then like they're still talking to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, I'm having a conversation.
Going back to that original question, yeah,
right.
That's super funny. Dang. So growing up, did you have a lot of like young friends like that you would hang out with, or was it kind of just like you would do your work, get things done, play the things you wanted to, or how was it for you?
Yeah, so when I was going to school over there weren't a lot of kids from my school in that area. Was it suburban farms, or? This is like a rural area.
Okay,
yeah. My where the land that my grandparents own was originally farmland. So like when my grandma was growing up, like they had like land where they would grow plants and like food and things like that, and then they had like some chickens, like sheep and like all that stuff.
Interesting. Sheep.
Yeah. So my grandparents are old, dude. They're super old. They're like 80s, like almost like my grandma's about to be 90. So like they're like that's way back in those times when like people had livestock and like they were trading. They were trading and bartering during this time.
So give me 10 eggs for a dog.
Right. Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
That's how my parents grew up too in Mexico as well. Like they would trade. Like one of my aunts, she traded one of her kittens for like 5 chickens. Yeah, because the guy like he's like, I have a lot of mice. I need a cat to help like keep the house safe. And she wanted chicken, so they just traded that.
That is some real Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, dude. It worked. Yeah. The funniest part though was that the cat didn't like the guy, so it ran away and it went back to my aunt's house. And when the guy came back to get his chickens, he's like, "It's not my fault you lost your cat."
Right. Yeah.
And the cat's in the background, just like running around.
This is where I live.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So you grew up with. Actually, were you and your sister very close then? Because you guys were kind of like in the same household. No. Okay.
No, we hated each other.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we did not. We get along at all. Like, I think it was just. Not to be dramatic, but like I think it was just like a normal like sibling rivalry, you know.
It's like you two were different as well. Like she like enjoyed reading, wanted like that stimulation for her brain. You wanted to like be more like with your hands doing things. That
Plus,
makes sense.
Yeah. Plus, she's a woman, you know. So like she was maturing a lot faster than I was, you know, during those times. So like obviously she wasn't trying to like play and like do these things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like she wanted to do what girls who were like maybe a couple years older than her were doing. Like you know, they're going out, they're like doing this, you know, like whatever. I don't know what. Yeah. I don't know what they do, but. She wanted to do it, you know.
Yeah. Are you guys close now?
We're very close now. Okay. Yeah, I would say she's like one of my best friends now.
That's beautiful.
Like, we talk like every day. You know, she sends me stuff online. You know, like Instagram, Twitter, and all this stuff. And then we talk about it. We laugh about it and all this stuff. We give each other the family tea. So like she's a lot closer to my mom's side of the family now. Because she lives over there. So like she's in New York currently, which is like an hour and some change flight from North Carolina. So like she's there all the time. She was actually just there this past week. You know, because my mom's side of the family and my grandparents' house is kind of like the hub of that side of the family. Like people from that side are coming in and coming out. Like at all times of the year, you know. So she's there most of the time that's happening, you know. So like she knows what's going on. She's had conversations with parts of the family that I haven't seen or talked to in a while, you know. So like she's on the up and up, and so like she fills me in on that stuff. She like texts me and like all that stuff, and it's like I know enough about those family members to understand what that T means,
Yeah.
you know? And like what developments are happening in the family because of said T, and all that stuff. So it's like it's nice that she keeps me in the loop, you know, and it helps me feel close,
Included.
yeah, it helps me feel included. Yeah.
Do you repay the favor with telling her T from over here?
There's not really much tea over here. It's just me. Dude. It's just me. And then like my dad lives in Moreno Valley. I see him like when I can, you know. Just like my schedule is pretty hectic.
Yeah.
Like, getting over there is kind of tough because like that Riverside traffic's nuts. Dude.
Yeah, it's not friendly at all.
It's not great, you know. But you know, I try to see him and like his side of the family a lot more, especially since my uncle died recently. And you know, he's living in our childhood home like by himself, and which is not a problem for him. Like he loves it. You know? But like I understand how important it is, you know, to like have that family time. So you know, I do the best I can. But like we also have family from my uncle's marriage or his last marriage that lives out here in Cali, and like his kids live out here, so I try to see them. Like we were just at the holiday stuff that they were throwing this past year, and it was the first time I'd seen them in a while. So like they have a lot going on, so like there was a lot of tea from those times that I was able to give to her.
Taking notes,
you know, but like, but I don't see them very often, so it's like it's not a lot, but you know, I do what I can, you know.
Do what you can when you can.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. Dang. So you guys weren't very close, but now you are super close, and I love that because you hear a lot about how siblings hate each other their entire lives, and they never talk. And I'm the same way with my sisters. We talk every day. Talk smack about each other.
Yeah.
I always tell them we bonded over our trauma as kids.
Let's go into that. Like,
no, you know how it is. Like your siblings, your parents, you fight.
Yeah.
And then I think for us, like being first generation, like our parents were learning how to be parents when they were super young. And so it's always a fun time learning about that.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. But so you grew up in Moreno Valley, and then you lived in North Carolina with your grandparents, and then you moved back. When you moved back, did you go back to Moreno Valley or did you go to Rancho?
So, yeah, when I left my grandparents, we moved back to Moreno Valley because we still had our house there. And then we were going to school because my mom didn't like the schools in that area. She wanted us to go to school in a nicer area. She knew that the schools in is Moreno Valley still part? No, Moreno Valley is Riverside County, and then Rancho San Bernardino County.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
So she knew that schools in San Bernardino County were a little bit better. So she wanted us to go to school like closer to where she worked. So for pretty much all of 7th and 8th grade, we were commuting to and from Moreno Valley to Rancho because I was going to school out there. Like my sister and I were both going to school there. And then after those 2 years of that, my mom was like, "This is kind of getting a lot. We need to move to Rancho." You know, so we ended up getting an apartment out in Rancho. And then like that was closer to where she worked.
So it just worked out.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, "Why are we doing this?" You know? But then like I put the pieces together eventually. But like it was just more feasible for her, you know, it's like because that's a lot of driving and like, that traffic was probably bad even then, you know. So so like and then once we were living in Rancho, like that was all she wrote. Like at that point, it's like we gotta stay here. It's just more convenient, you know.
Yeah.
So we still have the house in Moreno Valley. Like my dad's been fixing it up because he plans to sell it soon. But yeah. So like now I'd say I'm from Rancho because I've lived there the longest.
Yeah,
so
and you know, like that's where like you really develop yourself into who you are now.
Right. Yeah. Those are my formative years, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I was maybe 10, 11 at that time.
When you think of Rancho, like, what's one like memory that comes to mind about it? I know you grew up there, but like, what's like when you think of it, it's like, oh, like, I remember this. Like, is there like a burger spot or just a place, something that just like reminds you of Rancho to you?
Honestly, weirdly, like it's just the streets, just the roads and like the streets. You know, they're very clean. It's very clean out there.
Okay.
It's quiet. It's not like any really city I've been in really, other than like maybe Irvine. I would say comparably. Like I would say it's like a tier below Irvine. But like I compare the two a lot because like I'm like, you know, like Irvine is really a lot like Rancho. It's just a step above maybe in cleanliness.
Yeah.
But like I mean like they're like neck and neck to me. But not like like honestly weirdly like that's really what I think about. I just think of like all the streets that I've like driven up and down, walked up and down, like, you know, with my friends and like all that stuff, and like that's the first thing I think about. It's like,
do you want to stay in Rancho?
What's that?
Do you want to stay in Rancho like long term?
Honestly, at this point, no. I feel like I've been there for so long, you know, and I don't really feel like there's anything for me there now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I'll always enjoy it as a place to live, you know. I think it would be a nice place to settle down.
Yeah.
You know, if I like wanted to get a house, you know, or something. Well, even now, I don't think the housing is really great at this point. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge. Cross that bridge when we come to it. But no, I think now I'm at a place where I want to see what else is out there. You know, like I've already lived there for so long, and like I can't really say that it's like I can't give it the praise that I'm giving it now. Like when I know that there's so many other places out there that like are probably most certainly better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, like, and I want to live in those places and see what it's like, and like maybe compare it. You know, and I think about moving back to Long Beach, just because like everybody that we know is out there in that area, Huntington and like Newport and like all that stuff, and like you and here in Anaheim and like all those like that's really close together. Yeah, all those places are really close together. And like I'm just so far away, you know. And it's like I come out here whenever I can because I just love you guys. And I just love spending time with you guys. And it's like that. I would say like aside from, you know, meeting Kareen and like, you know, being with her for so long, like that's one of my main reasons for wanting to move back is just because like when now she's out there. And like, you know, you guys are out here and it's like, oh, that just makes sense, you know. Yeah. Like I should probably move back, you know, or like move somewhere nearby, you know, like, you know.
I just love that I've been trying to convince you to move out here for the past 5 years. And you meet Kareen and I'm like, you know what, I should probably do it. Now I should probably move out there. And I'm like, wow, all right, I get it.
I know. That's so crazy. Well, I mean,
it's cute though.
That now it just makes more sense. Now more than ever,
I think especially going into this like next phase of like your life, like you want to like see something different. I think that's where I want to jump into next. So I know you've been doing training for a hot minute. Do you want to like pursue that, or is there like a next step for you?
I did for a while. I think at this point I'm in like a transition period, and then like it's not the first time, probably won't be the last either. But like before, when I went to school for illustration, you know, so like for a very long time, that was my only focus, was to get a job in like the animation industry. I wanted to be a conceptual artist doing like visual development, character design, prop design, like all the pre-production type stuff for like movies and like games and things like that, you know. And that still is an aspiration of mine, but like at a certain point, like after school, like I've just been applying all these places, not getting hired, and it's like, all right, well, I mean, I gotta make some money, man. Like I can't be unemployed forever. So it's like at that point, I was at a transition period too, where I was like, well, man, what am I supposed to do now? You know, like this is all I ever wanted to do. And it's like, what else can I do? And at that time I was like, well, what are my skills? You know, what are my interests? You know, where are my strengths? And you know, fitness has always been such a huge part of my life, even then. even more so now. So like at that time I was like, well, let me try to pursue something in the fitness industry, you know.
Yeah.
I've been training people like for free, like, you know, here and there, since I started lifting, you know. And I was like, I feel like I have a lot to offer this industry. I have so much knowledge that's just kind of like sitting in there, you know. So like, let me try to be a personal trainer, you know. So that was my first transition period, and like I did that for a while. I mean, I'm still doing it, but like I feel like I'm kind of coming to the tail end of it, because I went from working at a box gym to doing private, or to doing group training, to doing private and group training, and now I'm not doing private training anymore, but I'm still doing group training. But like at this point, I'm like, man, I don't really know if like this is what I want to do anymore. I feel like it's not giving me as much joy as it used to. Like my passions aren't into like training people. It's more so into training myself. You know, like, I mean, I'm always gonna have that, you know, because like I plan to compete in like bodybuilding competitions, powerlifting meets and things like that.
The
Like,
glory.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like I'm more so, like I had to really sit down and like think about it. I was like, man, like, am I really passionate about training people, or am I more passionate about training myself? Because like I'm happiest when it's me pushing me. You know, like I know how to get fit. Like I know how to make myself fit, and I know how to progress and become a better version of myself. You know, and it's like I try to take the stuff that I learned about doing that for me and apply it to other people. But what I've come to realize is that like training people to become fit is more of a mental thing than it is a physical thing.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people aren't ready to make that mental shift to do what it takes to become fit. You know, and it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Absolutely.
You know, and I feel like that's what I've been trying to do for the past 4 years, is force these horses to drink the water.
Yeah.
You know, but they don't want to drink the water, Marvin.
It's like great quality water. They just don't want it.
It's Perrier. My training is like Fiji water. It's the best possible water you can drink. It's crisp, it's cool, it's pure, it's just good. It's amazing water.
Yeah.
But like I spent the last 4 years trying to figure out like, why the do people not want to drink? Aren't you thirsty? You're thirsty, right? Like, what do you want to do? You want to drink mud water? Like, like people like want to like find shortcuts and like, excuse me, they want X, Y, and Z, but they don't want to do like Z, Y, X to get there. Yeah, right. You know, and like that just never made sense to me. Still doesn't make sense to me. But like after reading like a couple books, like I read this what's it called, Conscious Coaching by Brett Contreras, and it's like about effective methods for training athletes, things like that. And it's like I could apply this to my clients in some way, shape, or form. Like, even though they're not athletes, like they're still people who are who you are subjecting to these methods of training, to get to a certain goal, right? Which is exactly the same thing that athletes are trying to do, you know. And a lot of what I was reading was like how to tap into their mentality, who they are as people, what makes them click, what they respond to most to kind of get them to do what you want them to do, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that all makes sense. That all sounds easy on paper.
Yeah.
But then applying it to practice is a lot harder than you think, because it's like, well, that requires me spending a lot more time than I have to learn who this person is and like what they would respond to. And like that was something I realized that's something I'm not willing to do. Like I don't care if you don't want to do this. Like, if you don't want to go and do ropes for 45 seconds, like 3 rounds, 45 seconds, that's fine. You can leave. Like,
Yeah.
like if you
don't waste
don't
my
want to
time.
get fit, then you won't get fit, dude. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you what you need to do to get fit. You don't want to do it. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, don't waste your time, don't waste my time.
Right, yeah, and like
Mhm.
that's kind of how I was feeling. Like, oh man, like I feel like, yeah, I'm really wasting my time here, and like I realize I don't think I have what it takes to try to make the horse drink,
Mhm.
you know, or try to or convince the horse to drink, you know. Like, to me, in my mind, because I've already been doing this so long, like my mentality is like, uh, you don't need to want to drink the water, dude. You just have to drink it.
Mhm.
If you want to be this guy, you want to be a god, you want to lift this kind of weight, you want to look like Ronnie Coleman, like you gotta fucking drink the water, dude. You gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, and like I've already fortified my mind to doing that, but like that took years. You know, and it's like I can't make these people make that shift in the amount of time that they want to get fit. Like a lot of people, they sign up with me and they're like, oh, I can give you 3 months, and it's like that's like no time at all. But it's like, okay, like it's doable if you do exactly what I say. Like,
Yep.
if you do what I tell you to do, and then they're not doing it, and it's like, okay, well then, like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna sit here and try to be like, hey, man, like, you're not checking in, man. Like, I'm just checking in with right now. Like, did you get your meals in? Like, did you do your cardio today? Like, I'm not your dad. You know, you know what I mean? And it's like there are people in this industry who like have been able to make themselves like do that and be that person, but that's not who I am, you know. So like I realized like maybe I'm just not cut out for this, you know. It's like and like I see the irony now that I say that now, because like I could just be that person. I could just do the work and like be that person. But it's gonna take some time for me to shift my focus to doing that. So like I felt like, well, maybe I just need to take a step back and see if this is something I want to keep pursuing, and realize if and come to a realization if I want to make that change. You know, I don't think I'm there right now. Just because like that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Like, you know, just, you know, being that person that has to like keep like going in, like, keep trying to like be on your ass and like motivate, and like I have to motivate you, and like, you know, this, that, and the other, and like I can only do that so much, you know.
Yeah, at that point, is it like going back? Like, is it worth your time, and is it worth like what you're being paid to do?
Right, exactly. And like at this time, I felt like I don't think so.
That's super valid.
Yeah, so like I'm just in this state of like floating, where it's like, what's my next move? Like, what am I gonna be doing now? You know, what are my interests now?
Yeah. So remember a while back when we were talking about that, you were really interested in like kind of what you mentioned, like illustration and like creating like your own comic book and like kind of creating like your own designs. Is that still like a work in progress, or where'd you leave off on that?
So I mean, I think about it all the time, but it's like, you know, thoughts have to become actions, you know, and like it's kind of the same thing. It's like, well, like, is this something that I am still passionate about and like actually want to do and pursue? I think my passion for art and drawing in general has like waned a lot since graduating. Like I don't get the same joy from it anymore. There was a time when I wanted to. That's all I ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like. I think just like after college, and just like getting rejected from all these studios, and like, you know, just like it really like waned on my self-worth as an artist. Like I felt like, well, am I just not like showing this to the right people, or like, or is it just not getting seen in general? And it's like there's so many times when I've looked at my own work and like critiqued it up the ass, dude. Like it's like, well, I mean, this could be better, this could be better, and then like there are also times when I looked at it and I'm like, this shit is so good, dude. Like, why am I not getting hired? What's happening?
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, what was me? Like that's not who I am. But like I think at a certain point I was just like, well, maybe I should take a step back, and pursue other passions, But now and at this time, like, because like I was passionate about it for so long, I studied it. I spent all this money, like, to go to school for it and everything. Like, it would be irresponsible and selfish of me to not continue to pursue it,
Well, what's your goal? Have you set a goal where you're like, I'm gonna pursue this for at least 6 more months, a year, and then after that I'll transition to like a new thing?
I think that's where I am right
Okay.
now. Like, I want to go back to it, and like I have all these ideas swimming around in my mind.
What's one of
It's
them?
just a matter of execution. So like there was a time after school when I was like doing like t-shirt designs,
Mm-hmm.
and like wanted to start my own like t-shirt
I remember, yeah.
line. And like that didn't go so great the first time around, but I was like, you know what, I really want to go revisit this and like, go to the drawing board and see what changes I can make, and then maybe try my hand at it again. So like I have all these designs in my mind, and like ideas for like the logo and like the company, or not the company, but like the brand,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, like I kind of want to see how one of these would do. So that's kind of where my focus is right now. But
Have you
then,
started?
well, see, that's the thing. That's what I was gonna get to right now. It's like the amount of force and will that it takes to actually get up and get to the computer and start, it's just not there, dude. Like, I just don't have any like drive to want to like just start it,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, I don't even know if I really want to do this. I think, if I do this, am I doing it because I feel like I need to,
Mm-hmm.
or because I really want to,
You sound like one of your clients right now.
huh?
You sound like one of your clients right now.
What are you trying to say, Marvin?
You can get a horse of water and have a person to drink.
Well, like, is it the same? Because like, it's not like I really want to. I don't feel like it's like I want to be an artist right now. Like,
Your clients want to be fit and buff.
yeah, but I don't want to be an artist right now. Like, that's the thing. Like, if I wanted to be an artist, like, then I would get my ass up and I would
Fair.
like go and I would get to it.
Very
But
fair.
like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know if that's something I want right now.
That's totally fair. And you're at that age to really explore and figure it out. Dang, dude. But I know how good of an artist you are. I've seen your
that,
work.
yeah. I appreciate that.
I remember we were back we were driving to the beach or somewhere. We were in my car and we were talking about how you wanted to create like your own clothing drive or a clothing brand. And we were talking, and you're like, it's kind of difficult. And I was giving you the example of the Big Baller brand. Do you remember that conversation?
No.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
no, you're good. We were talking about it, and you're like, dude, do you know how crazy like that whole idea was to make it happen? I'm like, yeah, but he made it happen. And although the Big Baller brand isn't as affluent as it was back in 2018, 2019, it's still around.
Yeah.
Do you have a timeline of like if you do want to do this or if you don't want to do it, like what is your next plan after that?
No.
Okay.
And I think that's the hardest part about this transition period right now. Is like, well, I don't know what's next, and it's like I don't.
That's
know.
fine.
I don't know what I want, like I know what I want. I just don't know how to get there.
What is it that you want?
I want stability. I want like I want a career that I enjoy, and that I'm good at, and like have an interest in, and can say that I can do for a long period of time, like the rest of my life, I would say.
Yeah.
And I want something that'll serve me, like something that will like get me out of bed in the morning, and like want to do this thing. I don't want to just be like aimless in life doing like menial jobs, just for the sake of like having a job,
Yeah, and I got that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this because I enjoy doing. It's like a passion project for me, and I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
No one's paying me to do any of this.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a hobby that you do for yourself that isn't paid that you just really enjoy doing? Like, I know working out's one, but is there another?
Yeah. Beer.
Beer?
Yeah.
Do you brew beer?
No, but like I would like have like I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, like what do I like? Like, what are my other interests? You know, it's so fun. Remind me to go back to a conversation I had with Taff.
Tap, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I was like, man, like what else do I like, dude? And I'm like, well, I really like beer, and I like the brewing process. Like, it's always been fascinating to me.
Do you want to brew?
No, but like like if I wanted to go down another avenue, I think that would be it.
I have a brew kit right behind you.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's like in the back, right behind you.
Well,
like look,
can
turn
we
around.
Try it? Like,
I have a book you want to brew. Like, literally look behind you. There's bottles and everything back there.
Oh shit!
I have a book of I brew beer for fun as well.
That's sick. Yeah, like I think that'd be a cool hobby.
We can do it. It's a 4-hour process, but we can do it.
That time is not a factor. Time flies when you're having fun, Marlon.
It does. No, it does. Yeah, I literally have my brew book over there, so I brew whenever I can.
No, that's kind of something. The idea.
If you tell me what you want to do, I will support you.
Thanks,
I'll
man.
be there for you, and we'll make it happen. I'll be your coach. I'll be texting. All right, did you register already?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think just having the idea is something to me right now.
I'm just trying it.
Like, it's better than like being aimless.
Yeah,
You know?
but you know what?
Like,
Being aimless, there's nothing wrong with that either. Because
it feels like it's like there's something wrong with it though. That's the thing.
Let me ask you
It's
this: Have you shot an arrow aimlessly, and has it felt like you hit something? Like career rise?
Metaphorically?
Yeah, metaphorically. Not an arrow, not an actual arrow. That'd be really funny. If you have a bow and arrow, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, I thought I was on the mark with training. Like,
What'd you learn?
And I learned that I hate it.
What'd you hate about it?
I hated like how I had to like I felt like I had to force people to do this thing that they wanted to do.
So what can you take from that?
What do you?
So you figured out that you hate working with people that aren't self-motivated.
Yeah.
So can you look for things that or other people are motivated to get things done as well? Like what about like working for like Disney, Pixar, or even a sports team to help like create, because those people are very self-motivated because they want to be successful. So thinking of it like that. You're not aimlessly doing something, you're learning from the things that you don't like.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. That's one thing that when I was trying to figure out what I want my major to be, my advisor was like, it's better to know what you don't want to do than knowing what you do want to do. Because once you have the idea of like, I want to do this, you're stuck on that idea and you're going to pursue it. And once you get there, if you don't like it, you feel completely lost. But on the other end, if you don't know what you don't want to do, but you're trying all of these different things and you're discovering what you don't want to do, it's closing the circle, so you're able to really discover what you want to do.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can do a number of things. Like your grandpa and your dad. Like, they did a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're super happy with, like, they may have not been like great or even super like fantastic at one thing, but they're really, really good at a number of things.
Yeah, very true. You know, you're so wise, man.
I make a lot of mistakes.
You're
That's all
such
it
a
is.
wise man.
Yeah, just try it out and see. And if you get an idea of like something you want to do, like, try it out and see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And even if it's free, like an internship, why not? Because you never know. Like, you may discover something that you really are passionate about and you're not being paid for, but because you're so passionate about it, it makes it worth the while. And then eventually the money will come.
Right. Like, well, like, I'm not like super worried about like the money aspect of like,
that's great.
You know, they're making like a grip. I mean, that'd be nice. Obviously, that's something that everybody wants.
Yeah.
You know, like, cause like inflation's a bitch. Like, things are getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
And then like we're gonna have to leave this country soon, probably. But like I think one thing that I can say like good about myself is that like I'm always gonna want to work towards something. Mm-hmm. It's like even if I don't know what it is, like I know that it's there. I have to find it, and I'm gonna work towards it. And I did it for everything I've done in my past up to this point. It's just how I was raised. It's just who I am innately. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so like that kind of gives me comfort.
Yeah.
And like it's what's keeping me out of like a depressive state, like a whole woe is me like kind of
Yeah.
deal, you know. It's like, well, like even though I don't know what my next move is right now, like I'm going to find out what it is soon.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. So like I'm I think the biggest struggle I have is like trying to get there in a hurry, you know, because like I don't want to be doing nothing, you
Yeah.
know, like I can't do nothing. Like I have to be doing something, working towards something, trying to achieve something, you know. So like I think that's why I really poured a lot of my energy out in the gym, you know, because I want to compete, and like, you know,
Yeah.
and like one of my greatest aspirations, that it has been one of my greatest aspirations is to be an athlete, you know. So like I really pour a lot of energy and focus into like my health and like, you know, my physical ability, you know, like I want to do all these things. I want to do powerlifting meet, bodybuilding competition. I want to do this thing called the High Rocks. I don't know if you've ever heard of like a High Rocks competition.
I have not.
So it's like a physical fitness race. It's similar to like a Spartan race or like a Tough Mudder. It's just not outside. It's not in the dirt.
Yeah.
You know, it's like inside, and it's centered around like these functional movements, and like each one is segmented by like a station. Like each one is its own station, and then like in between, it's like a kilometer run. So like you're trying to complete these stations and run like throughout the whole course, like within a set amount of time, and like, you know, and just like any other race, you know, it's like whoever does it the fastest wins, you know. So but like, so like that's like the like one of the things I want to do, like in terms of like this fitness, because like I don't want to just be like a gym bro, you know,
Yeah.
and like just go to the gym every day and like have that be it, like, and, you know, like, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with people that want to do that, but like that's just not me. That's not who I am. Like, I've been doing this for so long that it's like I've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, well now I feel like I want to do something with this, you know, like, so that's just the kind of person I am. So like, and it's the same with like my professional life, you know, like I have these skills that I've acquired over the years. That I know what I'm good at. I know what my strengths are, and it's like I need to apply them to something that's going to serve me, you know, or benefit me. You know?
Let me ask you this: do you know, or can you identify the difference between being happy and being content?
I don't know if I could. I mean, if I really think about it, like
I think you should think about it.
Yeah,
That's one, because I've been in your shoes.
To me.
Well, it can be. I think for some people it's very different. Like for me, for the longest time, happiness was always felt like it had to be like an incline. It has to be going up. But recently, I've been thinking a lot more about it, and for me, it's like there's very simple, but like there's sadness, there's numbness, feeling nothing, and then there's happiness. So like everything below this numbness is sadness, everything above it is happiness. And so if what I'm trying to like get myself to start thinking is like being content is like plateauing, but I'd rather be plateaued in happiness than plateaued in sadness.
You know what? Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense when you say. Like,
I mean, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to figure it out myself. And so I think.
Well, I like that though, because
Yeah.
like I mean, I guess by definition that is what content is, where it's like you're happy with your current situation where it is now, and like if it never progressed or regressed, you would be fine right there. You know, like that to me is what content means. And then I think happiness is just more of a generalization of, you know, how you feel about your state of being, I guess.
Absolutely, because happiness is such a huge spectrum.
Yeah.
Like there's like I said, very simple: sadness, happiness.
Yeah.
But on this like level of a happiness, like there's so many things that can make you happy. Like your family, your friends, your church, your creativity. Like there's just so many things that make you happy.
Yeah.
And so for me, like I try to really find those different things that make me happy and pursue those things. Or I do this, I brew beer, take care of my plants, take care of my dog. Like all these things bring me joy. And I try to really just keep that going.
Yeah.
And like, question for you, like, are you able to identify what things bring you happiness?
Yeah, just the people in my life, you know, like my girl, obviously, my friends, you guys. Like, I live for seeing you guys and
Yeah.
like coming to hang out and like doing stuff with you guys. Even if it's just sitting there chopping it up, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's, or just like just drinking or whatever. Like that's like those are two really big things. And then fitness, obviously. Like I think like another thing that's what's been keeping me going too, and like keeping me out of like a depressive state is just just getting up, going to the gym, you know. And I guess aside from that, like my cat.
You have a cat?
Yeah, you didn't know
Oh, yeah,
that?
cat?
Oh yeah, dude, I've had it for almost 2 years now.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Mm,
I'll have to see a picture of it later.
yeah. So that's been helpful too. Just like, you know, like I have this creature who depends on me.
Yeah.
And like needs me to live. You know?
Yeah, no, literally. They literally need you to live. I feel that.
And if I don't take care of myself and like keep myself in like a good state of mind, then like that's gonna regress her way of life too. You know, because like animals, they can like sense
And plants
your
too.
feelings. Plants too, yeah.
Literally, I come home stressed, and I've had some plants die because of how like stressed out I was.
Oh man.
And I know that when Cora is like very anxious, she loses weight. Like I know that she's stressed because I'm stressed.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that.
That's
Being
what
mindful
I-
of yourself.
Yeah. So, and I mean, honestly, that's pretty much it, dude. Like,
You're good.
I feel like at this time it's enough, you know. Obviously, I want more for
Yeah.
myself. I mean, any self-respecting person would,
Yeah.
you know. But like, I'm very much a glass half full kind of guy. And I'm very much a appreciate what you have kind of guy.
Absolutely.
So like these things I think about, and like. The way I see it, happiness is a choice. You know, you choose to be happy by thinking about these things, like thinking about the things that make you happy and thinking about what you have, and deciding that this is enough and like I want to be happy and finding the good in those things. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting close to the end. I have one challenge for you.
Okay.
I think it'd be really helpful if you took some time to sit down with your grandpa and your dad and kind of ask them about this questions of how they were able to determine what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And probably they're still looking.
Yeah.
And if they are, like, that's okay. But I think you should definitely talk to them both and see what they're thinking. Even your mom as well. And kind of see what helped them determine like what direction they want to go in.
Yeah. This whole experience has made me want to do that. Like, I mean, well, I've thought about it before in the past. Like when I was in high school, I had like this assignment to speak to like one of my family members, and like get a generalization of like their life, you know. And I chose my grandpa, and like that was one of the first times actually like at the time I was living here and he was living in North Carolina, but so like it was over the phone, but like that was like one of the times I can really remember like actually sitting down and like speaking with him, and like learning about his life, and I think I learned the most about him in that conversation. So like I think about that a lot, and I was like, man, I should really do that again. And like this really just kind of like solidified it. I was like, man, if I had just done that before sitting down here today, I would remember so much more. But like, you know, it is what it is. You know,
You still got time.
yeah, right, exactly. You know, so you gotta take advantage of it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you gave me this opportunity to do this.
Of course, dude. Appreciate being here.
And gave me something to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. What I always say is like there's no better time to do it than the present. So as soon as you walk out here, just text them like, hey, let's talk.
Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to know more about you.
Right. Yeah.
So as you know, this is called Mike Memories. And I always end each session with giving the guest the opportunity to share one memory that they want to make sure is recorded and saved for the future. It can be a happy memory, it can be a lesson, it can be a sad memory, anything you want to share with the audience, that way it's saved forever.
I feel like kind of put me on blast right now.
I know, that's why I do it.
Yeah.
I never tell my guests because that way it makes them think, because the first thing that comes to mind is usually the memory you want to share.
First thing that comes to mind. So like I don't want to cheat. This is literally the very first thing that came to my mind. Was my grand aunt's funeral. So my grandma's sister, she had cancer, nearing the end of her life. This was like 2018, and I remember me getting a phone call from my sister telling me that she had passed. And I remember where I was, and I remember what I was doing at the time, and I remember like this was the first time I've experienced like real loss, because she, I mean, I wouldn't say we were like super close, but like we were close enough, you know, and like for her to consider me like a grandchild to her, and like she was pretty pivotal in, you know, raising me, like, you know, like you hear that saying all the time, like it takes a village,
Yeah.
you know, and she was a part of that village, you know. So like I remember getting that phone call, and I remember like feeling lost, and like feeling regret, because and this is what's really making me think about this experience, and like that's what before today like made me think about wanting to like speak to my grandpa and my dad more about themselves, because like I regretted not speaking to her more, you know. And I remember like my mom, like I don't really know if she would see it this way now, but I think I remember her telling me like you should have called her more. Like it would have made her feel better if I had, you know. And like there was a time when she would like she would bug me all the time about calling my grandparents, because I didn't call them enough, and I feel like that's kind of like dissipated now. I feel like in my mind I feel like I have made more of an effort, but I know in her mind like she would love it if I did it more, you know. And then like my sister has been texting me telling me to call them more and like this stuff now too, and I'm like every time they do, I think about how I felt when I got that call about my aunt, and I'm like, and every time I do, I call them, you know, and I'm like, I don't want to be at a point in life where like they're gone, and I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I called them more, you know, and like that's what motivates me to like, you know, pick up the phone and give them a call, and like, and I want to like go back there more and like see them more, especially now since they're getting so damn old, Marvin. They're ancient.
Yeah.
So like their time on this world is not long now. So you know, it's not a happy memory.
That's okay.
But like yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind, and has given me much more appreciation of this conversation, like this project that you've given me. I want to go home and like, you know, have these conversations with them too. So,
And thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss. Like any type of loss is super challenging.
yeah,
And I'm happy that you're gonna take this opportunity to really talk to your family a little more and learn their stories.
yeah,
So that when we do this again, we can have more information to share with your generations down the road.
I'm gonna answer all the questions that you asked me. Like,
You answered them well. No, you answered them well.
Yeah. Well, all the holes that I can fill today, like they'll be filled.
Hey, and that's your chance to really learn more about yourself, because you can't know where you're going unless you know where you're from.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and for all you know, you may hear a story from your dad, grandpa, mom, or somebody that helps give you that direction that you're kind of craving as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you for just sharing your time and sharing your stories with me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I'll leave it with that. Thanks, y'all.